Hi there, valuable members. Glad that you are part of my channel, and I appreciate your sponsorship and the care that you have about me making this content. You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about the latest video that I just created about marriage and programming reactions and being able to understand our personal programming and how that interferes with our connection in our marriage. And it can interfere with friendships. It can interfere with any personal relationships for that matter. But being able to understand our programming. And I think that this is something that is beyond important. And when I work with clients, you know, especially when we're talking about marriage, I work sometimes one-on-one or with both, but I like to also take my time to work with one-on-one as well, because I know where we're going. Like, I know what we want to achieve. Both people are trying to save the marriage, so it's not like I don't know what roadmap they're on. The other thing that I like about it too is that when we work together, we're tandeming and working them together to create, solution, but then separately we can work on each person's programming. The reason why I like to separate a lot of times, with counseling, when I work with two people in a marriage situation or in a relationship, is that when we have that programming, we're having two different sets of programming, right? It's not like it's the same programming. And it would be like if I was the personal trainer, right? And one person had just gotten a knee replacement and the other person's running an Ironman. Okay, that hour of time is gonna not be that great because we're gonna be doing extremely different things and it's gonna be very little time to work on the programming, right? And I've also found that the programming that we work on is really deep-seated. It's been around for a very long time, and it goes back to self-esteem, self-worth, value. It goes back to those things in our life that we question the most, and one thing that I've realized is that self-worth and self-value, and finding that and seeing that and holding on to that and finding it and keeping it forever and then understanding our value is one of the biggest gifts that we can have ever. It's worth more than almost anything because it leads us to that unconditional self-love that you can't fake. And what I've realized is that until we get there, until we actually get into that place, we have the programming. We have that feeling guilty, feeling shame, feeling doubt, feeling sadness. And so then when we're interacting with somebody, when they say something to us, we can feel like they're badgering us or they're pushing our buttons or they're making fun of us. And the last thing we want is to feel like the person that we're living with isn't on our side. I mean, that's what's so tragic in most of this stuff, is that we feel that the person's not on our side. We feel like they're actually, doing this on purpose. And I think another thing too is that, when you open yourself up to somebody or you're trying to have this relationship or you're in a marriage, it's like, this is supposed to be where we can connect and communicate. This is supposed to be your solace. This is supposed to be your safe zone. And when you don't feel like this is your safe zone, we get on defensive. We put the wall up, right? We put that wall up. We begin to get angry, right? We begin to get resentful. We begin to question them. We begin to bring in other people in our life and share our stuff with them. We begin to reveal the problems in our marriage with other people, right? Because we feel like we can trust them over our spouse. Because when you feel like you're being put down by your spouse, that can be one of the worst feelings ever, because you're like, I actually picked this person to live with and probably have kids with, and now this person's talking like this to me. And it's like, wow, if I can't even get respect here, I mean, what am I doing? And I feel that the programming in our own brains create this concept of hearing things differently, right? And so I do agree that there is gaslighting, there is manipulation, there is the shame game. I'm not saying that people aren't playing this game. I'm not. You might be in a marriage or a relationship right now that you are being completely gaslit all the time. But in order to know that, you have to know your own programming. Okay, because I might be filtering it that way. I might be hearing it that way. I know that when I feel really good about myself, like confident, very good in a situation, very confident, that I can walk in a room and when someone says something, even if I don't hear it correctly, I give the benefit of the doubt to what that person's saying. I'm thinking it's going to be something positive. Now, if I'm feeling kind of worn down, kind of beaten down, right? Very extremely tired because of a long work day. When somebody says something I don't hear exactly, I might question what they said. Was that what I heard? And I'd be more on defensive. Now in marriage, think about it. If you're walking in and you're having a tough day and there's been arguments at work and stuff like that, and you're already kind of been beat down and you're kind of dealing with this, when your spouse says something to you and you don't hear the full thing, you might go start jumping to conclusions. What are you trying to say to me? Well, what is this? Am I getting beaten down here too? I mean, I don't understand. And you can start going down that road. And so what I'm saying is that we need to know the difference between what real gaslighting is and what misinterpreted and misinterpretation of what somebody says is, okay? Because we don't want to have regret in any relationship, even if it's a friend, even if it's a friend that you've known for a long time. You know, we bring these programs to the table and we need to know that, okay, if I am going to separate from this person and not hang out with them, why am I doing that? And is this the truth? Is this the honesty? Is this the real deal? Are they really doing X, Y, Z? And if they are, okay, you know, bring it up, throw light onto it, shine the light on it, and move on. But if they're not, and the friendship is worth, you know, is worth trying to work on, we need to figure out what's getting in the way of my interpretations. And so I ask you today, and I wanted to do this video just for members because I really want you to think about it. Get into your mind today. Be super mindful. And when someone's interacting with you or talking to you, especially if you start getting anxious, start getting stressed, start feeling sad, start feeling reactionary, I want you to think, well, what's going on in here? I want you to get right with what is happening in your mind. I want you to get super mindful. I want you to slow it down. Stop trying to always react. Okay? Because that's the problem too, is that when we're in it, when we find ourselves about to open up Pandora's box, which is not a bad thing, into our mind, we're actually able to see what's going on. We need to pull the curtain back, right? I mean, things are only scary until we see what's behind the curtain. We've seen The Wizard of Oz. We know there's not much there. Okay, we understand that. So I'm just asking you to pull the curtain back in your own mind and be able to see what's going on in your head, right? And usually it's not at all bad or scary. It's just we haven't done the work. You know, we've all been there before where we're like, I don't know. Am I going to test positive for this? I don't know. What about this? What about that? You know, like people have been scared about the COVID test, right? Oh, well, what if I have it? I don't know. I don't think I want to get tested. I don't know if I want to get tested. It's like, well, I mean, you're going to freak out about not getting tested more than you're going to be if you do get tested. Now, is the test always right? No, but we're talking about something that is always right. As far as when you get into your mind and you create this mindfulness by actually paying attention to your thoughts. Mindfulness is paying attention to your thoughts. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, and why we want to pay attention is because when somebody says something to us that triggers us in a negative way, what's happening here? What's the trigger about? Why is this triggering me? Why am I feeling upset about this? Why is this angering me? Why is this upsetting me? Why is this making me want to cry? Think about all these different aspects, because this is going to open up your mind to the reality of what's really happening. And it's going to be very powerful for you. Okay, and that's what I want you to think about. That's what I want you to think about. And so being mindful, being aware of your thoughts, being mindful, being aware of your thoughts, being aware of what's triggering you, okay? And then being able to journal some of this, you know? Even if you have thoughts without being triggered by somebody else, what were those thoughts? Start writing it down. Start getting an idea of what's going in and out of your mind. And it'll also make it a lot easier for us to start working on that. And that's one of the things that I really work on with clients is I sit there and we go piece by piece of these thoughts, because some of these thoughts are based on what I call the negative broken record. And the negative broken record is what holds us back, right? It holds us back in life. It holds us back from doing what we need to do. And that's the stuff that we have to work on. That's the stuff that matters, okay? And so start writing that down. Start getting an idea of the thoughts that are in your head. Understand exactly what those thoughts are. And let's begin to understand where they originated from, so that we're not triggered here in the future. And so when we begin to work on this mindfulness and we begin to journal these thoughts, we're able to really open up our mind to understand why we do what we do, right? And one of the things that I want you to really think about is that when you are interacting with your spouse or significant other or somebody else that you're triggered by, I want you to use this as a scientific experiment. I don't want you to see this as a problem. I want you to see this as an opportunity, okay? That's what this is about. An opportunity to understand why I do what I do. An opportunity to understand what are my triggers. Those triggers are an opportunity to unlock the information we need that is housed in your mind. Okay, so don't see it as an anger proposition. Don't see it as, oh gosh, I got to come to the defense now. I got to defend myself. Instead, just be like, hey, the next time it happens, I'm going to look at it as an opportunity. Because opportunities can be in some of our toughest times. We don't see it that way, though. So I've used that before in my past. When I was working through this stuff, it's about over 20 years ago, I was working on this stuff. And it's something that you never stop working on. Once you do it, you don't stop, okay? It's not like you just stop. If you stop, it'll all accumulate right back up. I mean, I got to the point where I actually knew exactly what I was thinking. I was mindful. I limited my thoughts. I got to the point of having no thought, which is hard. Okay, that's like where, that's what Buddhists attain to, right? That's what they're going for. You can't sweep anything under the rug, though. It doesn't work that way. You have to go through everything, work through everything, that kind of sort of thing. But I want you to see it as a scientific experiment. So the next time you have that opportunity, instead of being, oh God, this is going to suck, be like, okay, I have the opportunity to actually engage mindfulness and figure out, I know this person triggers me a lot. Let's figure out what that trigger is and let me go into my thoughts and understand what were the thoughts that were in my mind when I was triggered. Okay. So this is an exercise you can do. This is something that I work with my clients in doing. If it's something that you want to take even to another step, I can definitely walk you through this and work with you to understand exactly how to do this so that you can not only clean and clear your mind, but change the trajectory of your life, but also eliminate that programming that is actually getting in the way of you living your true life. Okay, take care. I'm so glad you're a member. More content coming soon.